Lamar Jackson was not good in the Baltimore Ravens AFC Championship loss to Kansas City. It's not fair to put all of the blame on Lamar because he didn't play awful. There were some good plays that he made, such as the big run on fourth down. He also had a touchdown that he threw to Zay Flowers when he spun out of a sack, and he threw a 30-yard dot. But outside of those two plays, Lamar Jackson didn't look like how he played in a regular season or even against the Houston Texans. It's funny how when we think about Lamar Jackson, one thing that never comes to mind, at least for me, is him being clutch. When I think of Lamar, I think of the most athletically gifted quarterback in the history of the National Football League. I don't think of somebody who I necessarily will put my trust in with 2 minutes left in the game, down the touchdown. We need Lamar Jackson to engineer a game-winning drive to win us the game. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have the talent and he's not capable of being able to do that, but I don't look at Lamar Jackson as being a clutch quarterback or being a quarterback that rises to the occasion, such as Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and even Josh Allen. And after how Lamar looked against Kansas City, I don't really think it's an argument right now about who's the second best quarterback in the league. It's definitely either Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. I'll probably have to go Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson didn't go out how Josh Allen went against Kansas City. Josh Allen went out swinging. He left everything on the field. Lamar, there was a lot in this game that he left off the field. And I was really heartbroken watching Lamar lose that game. I was really rooting and pulling for Lamar Jackson to get to the Super Bowl. This dude is my favorite player in the NFL right now. I've been watching him since his freshman season at Louisville. But there's a reason why he has a 2-4 record in the postseason. And it's not all because he hasn't had talent around him. He may not have had ideal situations, but there's been games that the Ravens have lost in the postseason because Lamar didn't play good. You remember when he threw that interception in the red zone against the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round a few years ago? You think about how he looked against the Tennessee Titans the year he won his first MVP back in 2019. He didn't show up in that game. And the team didn't show up neither. But when you're a quarterback like Lamar and you're viewed universally as a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the game, there are certain expectations that you have placed on your shoulders that people expect you to be able to still play at a high level, still be able to show up in the biggest game of the season and carry your team even if you don't have everything around you. Lamar is regarded as an elite quarterback. Elite quarterbacks should be able to overcome certain limitations. The play calling was abysmal out of Todd Monken, but it's not like they didn't put the ball in Lamar's hands. Lamar Jackson, despite what people want to say about does he get unfairly criticized and how much blame does he deserve for the Ravens' loss, still is the main reason why Baltimore lost that game. Throwing an interception in the fourth quarter on one of your final possessions of the game in the triple coverage is the exact reason why Lamar Jackson, I can't say he's better than Josh Allen. Josh Allen shows up when the game is on the line. Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow do the same thing. Lamar Jackson in the playoff doesn't. And I can't trust playoff Lamar. As much as I love Lamar Jackson, and as painful as it is for me to admit that, Lamar Jackson isn't a quarterback that I think of as somebody who I can trust late in games when I need my team to step up and win the game with the ball in his hands to make it to the Super Bowl. The AFC Championship was Lamar Jackson's opportunity to show everybody that not only was he as good as Mahomes, but he potentially is better than Patrick Mahomes, and he didn't do that. Yes, there were a lot of other factors around him that let him down, but there were still moments when Lamar Jackson could have took over this game. When you're Lamar Jackson, you're supposed to be able to go toe-to-toe for a guy like Patrick Mahomes. The receivers for Kansas City have been less as ideal. Hell, Kansas City's team is a lot worse than what Lamar's team has been this season. Their offensive line hasn't been great. Lamar has better receivers than Patrick Mahomes. Lamar had the better team than what Patrick Mahomes did and still lost. And got outplayed by Mahomes for the whole entire game. Hell, Lamar was not that good throwing the football, even though he looked better in the pocket, waiting for guys to get open. He was overthrowing guys. He was underthrowing guys. This just didn't look like the Lamar Jackson that we've seen in the regular season. This still doesn't take away from Lamar's greatness. There's been plenty of great Hall of Fame quarterbacks who have been great in the regular season but weren't so great in the postseason, i.e. Peyton Manning. Drew Brees, he's another one who wasn't great in the playoffs. Phillip Rivers, Lamar Jackson, I don't think he's never going to be able to get Baltimore to a Super Bowl. But right now, why the Ravens cannot advance far in the playoffs is because Lamar Jackson. Does it piss you off how much you pay for your monthly phone bill? Why are you getting frustrated when our partner Mint Mobile has plans as low as $15 a month that give you unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network? Stop getting frustrated with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports and description and pin comment down below to get access to premium wireless for only $15 a month. That's only $15 a month. Switching to Mint is easy. It only takes 15 minutes to do. If you're pissed off with how much you pay for your monthly phone bill, switch to Mint Mobile today and go to trymintmobile.com/JT Sports in description and pin comment down below to get premium wireless for only $15 a month. Stop getting upset with how much you spend on your monthly phone bill and switch to Mint Mobile today. Just for some reason doesn't step up in the big moments. You can't put that on the coaching. You can't put that on the supporting cast. That's a Lamar Jackson problem. You see, when it comes to criticizing Lamar Jackson, there's a way to criticize him while not trying to make it seem like the dude is overrated, because he's not overrated. He's just a player that at this stage of his career, he's hit that turning point where for him to get over the top, for him to really cement himself and his legacy and win the Super Bowl, you have to get through Patrick Mahomes, who right now is the greatest quarterback of the current era. And there's been plenty of quarterbacks that are just as talented as Lamar who have been unable to do so. You know, but Joe Burrow was able to get through Patrick Mahomes. Why? Because he was able to step up in the fourth quarter. Lamar Jackson, the fourth quarter of these playoff games, he doesn't come through for Baltimore. And and listen, they ran the ball only 6 times with their running backs. We get that the game plan was not good. They got to find ways to play complementary football in the playoffs. The Ravens got away from who they are. But at the same time, Lamar Jackson had the ball in his hands. And when you put the ball in your franchise quarterback's hands, you expect them to find a way to win you that game. And there were several opportunities that Lamar Jackson had to put Baltimore in position to win, and he wasn't able to deliver. Until Lamar Jackson is able to become a better fourth quarter performer and just a better playoff performer in general, he's going to continue to come up short in the playoffs. And another thing that concerns me about Lamar Jackson is that he's one of those quarterbacks that when he's on the field, you win a lot of games. But that's the problem. When he's on the field, he played every game this season, had no injury problems. I don't know if Lamar Jackson is going to have that next season. He's one of those quarterbacks that when he's fully healthy, it's kind of a rarity. Hell, before this season, his last 2 seasons all got ended during the midway point of the season. And he was out for the year. He didn't come back. So I don't know if Lamar Jackson from this point forward is going to have any more seasons when he's going to be available for the entire year. Lamar Jackson, if he wants to get over the hump, he has to get better in these playoff games, in these big moments when the lights are the brightest, because he was throwing his helmet on the sidelines. He was frustrated. He was emotional. He wasn't composed. And you look at Patrick Mahomes on the other sideline, no matter how tough the game got, no matter how tough the going was for Kansas City, he didn't get frustrated. He kept a level head. He stayed composed. And that was the difference between Mahomes and Lamar in this game. Lamar wasn't himself. He got rattled. Mahomes wasn't. And that's why he delivered on the biggest play of the game on that third down throw to MVS. And Lamar Jackson, In the biggest moment of the fourth quarter, he threw the ball into triple coverage. It resulted in an interception. Lamar Jackson has become a better performer in crunch time for Baltimore to reach a Super Bowl. When you play against Patrick Mahomes, you can't have an off day. Mahomes may be able to have an off day and still hang around with you because it's just Patrick Mahomes, but anybody else, you got to be damn near flawless to beat this dude, especially with the game on the line, because you know that's when you're going to get the best of him. And that's how it was when you were going up against Tom Brady in his prime. When you think about what it took to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, it took heroic efforts. Nick Foles has a statue built for a reason. That was one of the best playoff performances that we've ever seen out of Nick Foles when he took Philly to the Super Bowl that year and they took down Brady. Same thing with Eli Manning. Eli Manning is a future Hall of Famer because of mainly what he did in the playoffs, in particular, how he played against Tom Brady. Lamar Jackson, to become part of football immortality and to really submit himself as one of the greatest quarterbacks of this era, he has to get past Mahomes. And until he does that, you can't stamp him yet. You really can't. And I love Lamar, but if I was to pick a quarterback other than Mahomes who I would trust in the ball in their hands in the fourth quarter against them, it would be either Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. Now, who's more talented? I still go Lamar, but Lamar just hasn't shown the ability to consistently be able to elevate when the game is on the line. And he doesn't really have a lot of fourth quarter comebacks because the Ravens are so good and he's so good that he doesn't really find himself trailing in a lot of these big games. But you still get defined by what you do in adversity. You know what they say, pressure either busts pipes or makes diamonds, and the pipe of Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens got burst against Kansas City in the AFC Championship. But I just was really disappointed with what I saw of Lamar Jackson and their loss against Kansas City. I was expecting a lot more out of him. I was not expecting him to throw an interception, the triple coverage with the game on the line. And I have money on Lamar too. You know, they blew my parlay. It's just, until Lamar just gets better in these big matchups, gets better with the game on the line, he's going to continue to not succeed and go further than what he has gone in the playoffs.